hosting Karyn Reece with my co-host Alexa Zappia.
Hi.
Uh-oh, you look like you're up to no good. The wheels are going.
Always with you, the wheels are turning.
Yes.
One thing that I think people have like a misconception about is about psychics. And they're like, with the age of Instagram and Google and Facebook and everything, why just like, you could just Google everybody. So obviously I know that's not how you read, but can you kind of clarify those psychics who do versus people like you?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, I always tell people, what really are you going to find out on social media? You're not going to find out if you're having an affair or, maybe there's something health related to that, obviously is not going to be out there. The other thing is you're not going to see the future out on social media because it hasn't happened. So for all those reasons, I mean, what are you really going to find out? You live at a certain place, you do a certain thing, big deal, Are we going to talk about something you did when you were a kid that nobody knows about? Are we going to look into the future? Those are the things that I look at. I mean, It's really kind of silly to look, you're going to get just basic generic stuff on the internet.
Exactly.
You're really, like I said, you're not going to write out that you're currently having an affair. That comes up in readings, things that people don't know about, as well as things up into the future. So there are people out there that do make a living trying to fake out people. I personally have no time for that.
I was just going to say, the people who think that you really have time to do this, they don't know that there's so many aspects to this business besides what you guys see on TV that that's the other thing, sorry, but I run her social media. She doesn't even have the apps installed on her phone. So for the fact that people think that she probably Googles, they couldn't be further from the truth.
And the other thing too is when we do our readings here on our station, you at the last minute will say, okay, we've got a Susan at 3, a Billy at 4. So I really don't know anybody until I actually meet them on camera, which is at the moment, which brings to another point. I never do look at the calendar to the day of because I don't want to download information. So
psychically, not on Google.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Psychically.
And there's some, and it's true though. I don't want to be bothered. And as a psychic, I want to go in clean. I don't want to know your family. I don't want to know about your history. Maybe that information may pop up, but generally speaking, my experience, information comes up that people don't know.
Exactly.
I recently did a reading for somebody, knew nothing about her. I said, you have a sister named Joan, and she said, no. As it turned out, she goes, wait a minute. We always were suspicious about a sister named Joan, and anyways, as the story has it, apparently her mother had this baby out of wedlock or whatever. Mom had died, the baby had died or whatever. So that came to light after the fact. But that being said, the other thing I will say too is, honestly, it's not my job to convince a skeptic.
Exactly.
And really, here's what I tell people. Would you like it if somebody implied that you were unethical? When people call up, because we had that recently where somebody said, oh, you can Google me. And I'm like, you know what? Why are we even going down this road? Don't waste your time or my time. You wouldn't like it if I implied that you are unethical in the type of work that you do. Be respectful. If you want to come, let's have fun. Let's see what comes up. Be open-minded.
Exactly.
Have fun with this. If you're coming in and you want to be stronger, why waste your time and my time?
Exactly.
Treat people the way you want to be treated.
Exactly.
So just
that
saying.
makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. See, because you are the ethical medium. That's what you should call you. The ethical medium. That's your new name.
Well, leave it to you. And I get to, because there are a lot of unethical people out there. There's a lot of frauds out there. If somebody comes up to you, you're walking on the beach and they say you have something negative around you, buy these candles, or I can help you, or all this tragic stuff is coming up in your life. Come on.
Where do you go? Karyn Reece, friends. Karyn Reece.
I just love you. Anyway.
Thank you for that. Stay tuned for more from the Karyn Reece Show. Welcome back to the Karyn Reece Show. We are so excited to have our next guest with us, Matt Wismer. He's actually my trainer. He is phenomenal. And many of you have wrote in about guests that you would like to see or topics that you want us to discuss. And one that became pretty prevalent is health and fitness and lifestyle, especially coming up into the new year. So I thought, what better than to have Matt with us? So Matt, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm tremendous. How are you?
I'm great. How is it in sunny Miami as we're in snowy Buffalo?
Great. You see my tan?
Because there's so much confusion with so many different diets. People all have their own subjective ways of eating. What is really the right approach?
Individualization. Everyone responds differently to food. And also you have to look at lifestyle. For example, I mean, nutrient timing, I think when we're talking about for body composition, that seems like that's the main focus. You have to look at how you time your foods. For example, like even having something healthy, like blueberries, for example, if you work out in the morning and then you have blueberries in the evening, you think of your body like it. Think carbohydrates are your primary energy source. Think of it like if you're like a 16-gallon car, you put 20 gallons in a tank. 4 gallons spills out in the street. The same with your midsection. Once the storage form of carbohydrates, so glycogen, energy in a muscle, is over full, and you don't have an opportunity to burn it, you're either going to excrete it out or store as body fat. So the problem there is it's like you ate something healthy, but you're still putting your body in storage mode because the timing was off. So I think it's really about timing. I think it's like looking at your life, like I was saying earlier about like a gluttonous meal. If I go out, if I have like a heavy meal, if I go to Cipriani and have a heavy Italian meal, I probably don't need to go have breakfast at 6 in the morning. First thing when I get up, I should maybe give my body a chance to reset. But that's in general. I think it's finding what works best for you. I think usually lower carbohydrates. I think most Americans, I think the RDAs was from like 1980 it's completely off. Probably the average American probably should be around 100 to 150 grams of carbohydrates, not 300. The protein's way low, and the fat's about right. But it's think more quality whole foods, less substitutions, be smarter than the marketing. Really staying away from sugar is a general thing for most. I mean, sugar is not going to do anybody any good. And I still think having a protein source every meal if you can, and that doesn't mean like some processed protein source, just something we have a little bit of protein because it's going to help you have a leaner body composition. It's also the most inefficient nutrient in the body. You have 3 macronutrients. So it's actually a little interesting little fact. Have you guys ever heard of the thermogenic effect of food?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, for example, like carbohydrates and fat, they're more efficient sources of energy. So let's make math really easy. Like say 100 calories. So you to process it will only have to burn about 5 calories to process 100 calories with the fat or carbohydrates. So you're net 95. Protein is a much more inefficient energy source. So you're probably looking at about net 70 of that 100. So if you had 1,000 calories of protein a day, your body would probably only be you probably only have a net 700 versus if you ate 1,000 calories of fat or carbohydrates, you get net 950. So you're getting a bonus, like let's say 250 off of every 1,000. So there's just a lot of ways you can make food work for you.
That makes
Love
sense.
that. Totally.
So especially around the holidays, actually anytime, doesn't even have to be the holidays, but how do you recommend that people have like a good social life while not killing their diet or their workout regimen? Because it sucks.
It is tough, and I love this question. It's actually probably my favorite question. There's a lot that goes into it, but I think the first thing I think that when you from like a lifestyle standpoint, it's like, okay, let's start with drinks. Usually like a Blanco tequila, a vodka, anything clear, the lowest in calories. Try to go for lower sugar options. You can make any margarita skinny margarita. Skinny margs are a thing. So it's just like focusing on like things like that. Like when you're out, so that way it's not detrimental to your fitness goals. Then it's if you're at dinner, maybe stay away from the bread basket. Don't go into a ravenous state. Order more protein sources. Maybe instead of ordering like, we'll say fried calamari, maybe order tuna tartare, just giving a random example. And then it's just like, if you have like I was saying before, if you have a gluttonous meal and you go overboard with friends, the next day you can you think of like an accounting equation, give yourself a chance to reset. Like, don't just go right back to don't go, okay, I had dinner at 10 p.m. Now go pound, a very high calorie breakfast at 8 hours later. It doesn't do you any good. Let your body catch up. Maybe even drop your calories the next day. So that way you can reset and balance it out. Especially if you're like maintaining or you're just trying to stay around the same. It's usually just like an accounting equation. Make your body work for you. And socialization is, I'll tell you that socialization is incredibly important. And I think it's great because you can make it work for you because it'll keep you motivated. If you feel like you can't, that's why people hate workout programs or these really strict routines, because they have to hide from their friends or their family, or they can't travel, or they can't go to dinner, or they can't have a great relationship with their significant other. You have to, that's part of life. That's why your exercise program your exercise program and your nutrition should never affect that. I mean, unless you're literally like dying for a competition, but I mean, that's it. I mean, most people aren't. There's a lot, you're not, that's like 0.00001% of the population.
Yeah.
I have a question too. What about vegetarians and people that are vegan that really don't eat regular, meat? They may try to secure protein from pea protein, but you're still not getting all the branched chain amino acids. What are your thoughts on that? And can you really still achieve the success without having to be a big, meat person?
Absolutely, you absolutely can. I just think you have to be a little bit more. You have to be a little bit more strategic. I still think that the principles stay the same, where you should find ways to make sure you get complete proteins, or you might have to use some of like Bag of Sport or Garden of Life, like really great like organic protein powder, just to make sure that you're at least getting, we'll say, maybe a half a gram per pound of body weight in, and that because if you're having a lot of carbohydrates and you're not having enough protein, it will have a negative impact on having a lean body composition. But you can still be vegan, or you can be vegetarian. A lot of people might only have fish, but they don't have any red meat, or they might, or even a person who's full vegan, just simply protein powders. You can mix a couple different incomplete proteins to make complete protein, and you can accomplish everything that a meat eater can.
So we talked about this the other day, actually, when I was working out. So I just kind of want to touch on it. I had no idea how massive your brand is until we really went into like the nitty gritty of everything that you do. Without, that was over an hour-long workout. So without going into that, can you kind of just touch on like some of the stuff that you're doing, the partnerships that you've built? I mean, from one person to build this brand by yourself is, as I said when I was working out, it is incredible to hear everything that you do.
Thank you. Much appreciated. So, well, the interesting thing about it started off with just obviously personal training, and then it became a personal training company. So, because obviously you run out of time, and then I would start getting requests from buildings, and it wasn't just getting individual clients. You start getting an entire building as a client, and then so obviously you need more coaches under your belt. Then it turned into more all like fitness and menu management. I noticed there was a big issue in the industry with quality. So I started trying to find great instructors in every field in fitness or wellness, like yoga, Pilates, you name it. And then I started noticing more and more. You start noticing problems. So not problems with my team, problems with in the industry that you want to fix. And then so that led to gym design consulting. So right now I do close to 30 homes a month. And I'm preferred vendor in 19 multifamily buildings and hotels. And with that being said, a lot of that started with the gym design consulting. And so I became a friendly face in the client's corner. So it could be the property owner, the homeowner. And then instead of just going to a major seller like a Technogym or Life Fitness, I bridged that gap, and I was able to keep them. Okay, this is what my client needs. This is what their budget is, if their space is. But instead of them just throwing a random template at them, it became a lot more customized. And in the days of the cookie cutter gyms, for whether it's an individual home or for a large apartment building, like the building I live in here, it's one of my preferred vendor buildings. It's 821 units, almost 2,000 people live here. So you're making an impact on a lot of people's lives. They might not want to have to go to Equinox. They want to just go downstairs. Convenience is a big thing, especially for Gen Z and millennials. We want everything at our fingertips. So that became quite a business as well. And then the third part is all the brand partners, product partners. So got in with obviously a lot just to name a few, like Vital Proteins, Macalibrium, Thorn, Life Extension, Life Fitness, Technogym. Again with skin product lines, I've Dermacare over in Brickell. Trying to think, definitely steel products, one of nutrition. I mean, the list is endless. So it's more or less like trying to find a way to be a one-stop shop for everyone. Because I think right now we're in this, really think the best way to summarize it, it's very confusing. You Google weight loss, like 1,000 weight loss things right in your face. Or if you say, okay, I want something for my skin, who do I go with? I mean, there's like so many different collagen products. Well, so from my background experience and learning about like what product has had the most success with people and who has best service, I filtered that for people. I'm like, look, If you want some for skin, go Vital Proteins, best collagen. If you want something, if you want to have customized gym equipment, I would go with go Life Fitness, because you can customize colors. It's really great for branding. If you want something for home, maybe go with Perform Better, because Perform Better, they specialize in making a really special home space. And I think a lot of people don't know that. They just go and they just Google something, they buy something, they waste the money and they never use it. And I think that's where a lot of the business came from, because it was just solving problems in the industry. And I divided it into 3 different segments, so it's super concentrated. So you have fitness and the fitness and management. Then you have the gym design consulting side. Then you have like the product and brand partner side.
Beautiful.
Awesome. So you guys all should, this is not a paid ad, I wish it was, but you guys all should really reach out to Matt. He's great. So Matt, if our audience wants to get a hold of you, how can they best do that? How can they do consulting? So by the way, Matt is in Miami and I obviously am up here in Buffalo, and we train a couple times a week on FaceTime. So even though he's not physically here, you guys can train with him all over. So it doesn't have to be just to his location. Anyway, how can they find out about you and get in contact?
Well, thank you. Well, so the easiest way I would say will be to go to my Instagram, Matt W Miami, and then from there, I actually it's great. It's actually perfect timing, because of getting the parent site, the Wismer Fitness site, it's getting divided into 3 different areas we were talking about, which was the Wismer Fitness. So then we're going to have Gym Design Concierge, and then I actually have the brand line for the brand partners is called Better Day. So it was because I think we're looking at trying to help everyone live a better day. You want to wake up. So all the products they're on there about living a better day. A better lifestyle. So I'm dividing into 3 that way, so it can be hyper focused to whatever someone's looking for, and instead of it just being this big confusing site. So now will all be up in the next week or 2. So it's getting divided as we speak.
Awesome. Well, Matt, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. And guys, check him out. He's awesome.
Totally.
Thank you so much for having me, guys. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Welcome back to the Karyn and Reece Show. As always, anytime Karyn's around, spirit's around. So if you would like to potentially hear from your loved ones to win a reading or hear about your future, you may do so by visiting our website at www.karynreece.com, spelled KarynReece.com. You can also visit her on Facebook at Karyn Reece Psychic Medium, or on Instagram and on Twitter at Karyn Reece, or on TikTok at Karyn Reece and the number 1. You can also send her an email, Karyn, Karyn, and then the little @ sign, KarynReece.com. In your submission, please make sure you put your first and last name, phone number, email address, and why you deserve to win a reading. So we have a very lucky winner with us who wrote to us on Facebook. Pedro, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited. Karyn, thank you so much. Alexa, this is awesome to be here.
Awesome.
It's our
Karyn,
pleasure.
take it away.
A couple quick things. I've got your grandparents coming in. I'm seeing the name Maria or Mary connection coming in. Was that somebody that you're close to, or was grandma close to? MAR, something like an MAR is which keeps showing.
Yes. Actually, my grandmother used to double for a famous Mexican actress named Maria Felix.
Oh my God, that is so cool. She kept saying Marie, MAR. I go, I got it. Oh, that is so really interesting. No wonder why it totally comes down through the gene pool, I guess. Also, who's like a Lou or Louise or a Lou? Is that a friend of yours in the living, a Louis or Louise, Louisa?
Or actually, it may be my dad's mom. I think her name had a Maria in it, and my dad's name is Luis. I don't know.
I got them both coming in. Oh, so your dad's the Lou, daddy's Lou, and
his name is Jose Luis.
Yeah. Oh, that's a beautiful name, by the way. Yeah, they're all starting to talk, and I was to say who's like a Ho or a Joe or something like that. So
that's my dad.
Oh, he's a good guy. You love your dad?
I do. Yeah, he's my stepdad, but I call him my dad because he came into my life when I was like 4. So he's the only father I know.
Well, the reason I'm saying that, it's funny because I've got both sets of grandparents. And by the way, your first grand that we were talking about, your mom's mom with the Maria, the actress connection, is the one, because she kept saying, yes, 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 my grandson. No. So when they talk, you can't hear them really clearly. But your dad actually has been your biological father in other lifetimes. That's why you're very close in this lifetime. Where's the Ann connection? Is that connected to your mom, like a first or middle name, like an Anna or Ann? I see that around your mom. Or is it somebody she's close to, like an Ann or an Anna, Anthony? Something with an Ann is what I keep hearing.
Anthony is my cousin's son, who my mom, when he was born a preemie, and my mom gave a lot of blood to him to survive.
Oh, that's why I heard and Anthony to your mom. What a beautiful gift. Talk
Yeah.
about your mother being an angel on earth. That's what Graham
Yeah.
said. Butterflies. Does your mother like butterflies, or do you like butterflies? Who's the butterfly person?
That's my aunt, my mom's sister.
The one that passed.
Yes.
Yes, because she kept saying butterflies. I thought she was saying, oh, how funny.
Yeah.
Your aunt could not wait to see you. She said, I was dying to see you, Pedro. She was actually in my house today when I was getting ready. So just an FYI on that. And she said, I'm very happy with all the things that you're doing. And she says, I'll be at your wedding. In fact, I'll even help plan it. So you'll see your aunt in your dreams along with your other family members, and they'll help put together your wedding. By the way, I see in your future a small little fuzzy haired white dog with you and your partner. So I don't know if your partner's coming in with a dog or that's going to be your child, but either way, you got a cute like little doggy in your future, the two of you.
I'm fuzzy and I'm getting older and getting right. Maybe it's me.
Your aunt lives, so did both grandparents on that one. Did you used to write comics or draw comics, or do you find comics funny or something as a kid, or cartoons or whatever?
No, actually, I at one point I started collecting comic books.
That's what your grandfather's saying, and your aunt said that. I kept seeing comics all around you. So, oh, you don't have those anymore? They're worth money.
They're like in storage somewhere.
You need to get them. You need to get them. Yeah, because Grandpa said they're worth money. And so I kept seeing comics all around you. So you might want to, whatever, call a comic antique dealer, Grandpa said, to tell you, okay, everybody stop talking. They're all talking. They couldn't wait to see you. You're like super much the big popular guy on the other side. They're saying.
Thank you so much for that. It all makes sense. It's really insane when you're sitting here and you're giving this insight that like you wouldn't know. Like, how do you know these things? I haven't talked to you ahead of time. I haven't like told you anything about my family. And it gives you like goosebumps. It's giving me goosebumps. So I'm like, okay, great. I can't wait to ask these questions because this is the real deal, ladies and gentlemen. I'm excited, but thank you for that.
Who's the Cindy? Do you work with a Cindy?
I have a cousin named Cindy.
Oh, Cindy's a lot of fun. That's what your friend over here said. Have you seen Cindy lately?
I haven't.
You should call her. Your grandmother said that one, so call cousin Cindy.
Well, that's really interesting because my dad's mom, she raised Cindy.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So call your cousin Cindy because Graham said so. It was actually your Graham talking, but yeah. You and Cindy were brother and sister in a past life. Do you like boats, by the way? I just saw you rowing a boat.
My sister likes boats.
Oh.
I'm terrified.
Go with your sister, according to your aunt. I did see a woman, She laughed about your religious change too. It doesn't matter.
Well, you know what? I enjoy. I've been on one cruise and I got sick on the cruise, so I couldn't enjoy it. So now I'm holding that against all boats and all cruises.
Well, when you're an old man, you and your other half will do a lot of cruises, just so you know.
Oh, great! Are we bringing the dog along with us?
And the Pepto-Bismol.
You know what? I do love boats that are big cruise ships because they offer buffets, and I love good buffets. So yes, you're right. I do like boats.
I love it. Well, Pedro, thank you so much for joining us. Karyn, thank you. And Spirit, thank you. Hopefully this gave you the peace and the closure that you needed.
It really did. Thank you so much, ladies. Thank you so much, Karyn and Alexa. Always.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the Karyn Reece Show. As always, if you would like to connect with Karyn, you may do so by visiting her website at www.karynreece.com, spelled KarynReece.com. You can also visit her on Facebook at Karyn Reece Psychic Medium, and on Twitter and on Instagram at Karyn Reece. You can also go on TikTok and find her there at Karyn Reece 1, so the number 1, which is new and exciting. And you can also send us an email, Karyn@KarynReece.com. So, people often say that Google and technology connects us. Are you one of the mindset that I'd rather just like, do you spend time on Google, or do you get about not even clients, just things in general, things psychically, or do you just not really take advantage of those type of platforms?
If I'm shopping,
I mean,
you don't have to be a psychic to know that, but I don't. Here's the problem too. I really am not one to do a lot of, and social media, because if I look at something or I get stuck because I start downloading information. If I look at one person, whether it's social media or Instagram, whatever, I get stuck because I'll see things.
it's a black hole. It's a scary black hole we cannot get out of.
Yeah, and sometimes, you're stuck. If you get information, are you supposed to call that person? So that's why I keep it, out of my realm. Again, when people come, I want to get a fresh insight. Whatever comes up. I have no control over what comes up, who comes in, but that's what I work with. I'm not really, you know me.
As you are, Karyn Reece, the ethical medium.
I'm the ethical assistant.
Guys, thank you so much for watching this episode of The Karyn Reece Show. We'll be back next week for more.